So, Trump came out with a statement yesterday about marijuana. He thinks it should be legalized. Um, I would love for one day that every state has it legalized, like alcohol, because whatever you say bad about marijuana, I say the same thing about alcohol, but it's even worse. Now, my view on marijuana is like we've made a lot of gains to acceptability of marijuana socially, to the point where, like, I live in Michigan and it's recreationally legal here, so you can go to one of these shops and you can buy weed, you can buy vapes, you can buy edibles, all that. And I think it's better to go to the store and buy marijuana than it is off the streets, because it's not laced with fentanyl with these places. Well, hopefully it's not. I highly doubt that is laced with fentanyl. But if you buy something off the streets, like I used to buy all the time when I was younger, I would get marijuana. And I mean, back then I don't think that there was fentanyl in much, if it even existed. I don't know, I never heard of it back then. But you had to find people that knew people that can get you what you needed. But yeah, it's so easy now, and it'd be cool to go to the grocery store and buy marijuana like you can buy a pack of cigarettes one day. And I think that there needs to be like public places where you can smoke it. I don't think that you should just be able to walk down the street, smoke it, because like other people don't want to smell it. Obviously with the driving, you don't want people driving. From my stance right now is I think it needs to be right now federally decriminalized, and it's disappointing that the Democrats have basically had control of everything from 2020 to 2022, and they have done nothing to try to push anything through to decriminalize it federally. I think that the whole point of people sitting in prison for marijuana charges is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's a waste of taxpayer money. It seems like they want the prisons full for whatever reason. But I think that, like, it's like anything, pot is like in moderation. If you do it all the time, then like it could cause problems. But like for the most part, I look at marijuana as something that's like pretty, compared to like all the other drugs, I think that marijuana is like way less potent than everything else. And it's just been stigmatized socially throughout the years that it's like the most horrible thing. When I've been drunk a lot of times in my life, and I've been high a lot of times in my life. I've been blacked out drunk, and then I wake up the next day feeling like garbage the whole day. And yeah, you can definitely have a hangover when it comes to smoking weed, but it's nowhere near as intense as it is having a hangover from drinking alcohol. I think that it's, and you can't overdose. It's like almost impossible to overdose for marijuana. I'm not saying it's impossible. It can happen, but it's way harder. Like one of the first signs of alcohol poisoning is throwing up. So people die from alcohol poisoning. It is very rare for people to be dying from THC poisoning. It's like when you smoke so much weed, it almost just does nothing. And that's why I say like it. I think it's okay in moderation. Like, for the most people, you You get off of work, you want to chill out because you've been working your ass off all day, and you instead of drinking a 6-pack, smoking a joint or a blunt or eating an edible, and then you pass out. It's just kind of weird to me because like when I was drunk, because I don't drink at all. Like I might have some alcohol during like you know, the holidays like Christmas and stuff like that, but for the most part I don't drink at all. I don't really find any use for drinking. But it's just like when you're drinking, you start caring less. So like being high, there's a, like if you're drunk, you have a way more of a chance to get a woman pregnant, like have intercourse with a woman you normally wouldn't. Maybe she's married, maybe she's not your type, but like when you're drunk, you don't care. You don't really care about tomorrow as much. But when you're high, you're like, no thank you, I'm good, I'm cool. You know, you can still think for yourself. Like you don't really think that much when you're drunk, especially blackout drunk. And I think that, like, you know, I've seen somebody like say something about how I want it to be federally decriminalized, and they want it legalized. But it's just, my whole point is like, I don't want there to all of a sudden to be a resistance against marijuana. I think it's catching on. You're seeing like most states besides like 11 states or 12 have it legalized in some type of way, either recreational or medical. And these other states, they don't want it. So like I just don't want the federal government getting involved. Like most states want it legal in their state, so it's kind of like, just decriminalize it for now federally, and then you can leave it up to the states to decide. You know, maybe one day it becomes socially acceptable for everybody, and we just want it legalized across the board. I'm all for the states deciding if they want it to be legal or not in their state. Maybe they don't want it. It's just like abortion. If you don't like, that's what's great about that, because if you don't like the way a state is ran, you don't like the laws, then you can just move to another state. Like I think Idaho sounds amazing, and I possibly might want to live there one day. Sounds awesome. But guess what? Marijuana is banned there in every single facet, and I respect that. And I wouldn't be sitting here like it's just like forcing your beliefs on other people. Like if I'm gonna move somewhere, I want to assimilate. So like if I'm gonna move to Idaho and everyone's Christian, well, I'm gonna act like I'm Christian, or I'm trying to assimilate as much as I can, because I'm not gonna try to say you have to appease my culture, what my belief. No, man, I'm gonna try to fit in as much as I possibly can, because they have a good thing going there. If they got low crime, and that's why I want to be there, and it's like, it is what it is. But I think that we can make a ton of money. America could, if it was legalized, and distributing it, creating it. We have so much land, and like there's this fight between hemp and marijuana, because like technically you can, I guess, get slightly high from hemp, but like hemp, I guess you can make all kinds of things. You can make paper, you can make clothes out of it, and from what I'm hearing, it's like really, really good. But the marijuana people are fighting that because they want to like corner the market, And just kind of like, man, stop, like, it should both be good. It should both be, if the state wants it to be. But my point is, like, a lot of people aren't comfortable with it being completely legalized. So that's why I say make it federally decriminalized. Because like I said, man, people shouldn't be sitting in prison for marijuana unless, like, you're like committing fraud, or you're selling like something that's like hurting people and killing people. Like, yeah, then you should probably go to prison. Not probably, you should go to prison. But if I'm like walking around and I got a quarter on me and a cop stops me, like, imagine that, like, I'm walking around here in Michigan and I have a vape on me or whatever, and the federal agents stop me and they arrest me. I mean, I'm not too sure 100% of like all the laws. Perhaps it's like I have to be on federal property, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I just think it's ridiculous that I want less federal government, honestly. I understand the point of federal government after listening to George Washington's book, how hard it was for them to create an army and fund the army to defend themselves. And obviously we need some type of defense. You know, I'm anti-war, but like, listen, I'm anti-war, but I'm all for self-defense, man. Like, I hope I can go the rest of my life without ever having to hurt another human. Especially like having to take one out. I hope I don't ever have to be in that situation. But like, there's bad people out here that want to take from you or try to hurt you, and you have to defend yourself. So we have to have some type of like military. So I'm for decentralization of things, but I understand we need some type of central based establishment, but it needs to have less powers, not because like it's easy for, like, it just seems like the states have given up so much power, and some things that came out of it that is good, you know. Like, I think that slavery was a horrible thing. I think that the civil rights was a damn good thing. I don't think that people should be discriminated because of their skin color. I don't think that people should be discriminated because, you know, like, they like the same sex. It is what it is. I just think that, you know, when it comes to like lifestyle, I just think that trying to mix cultures in that type of aspect, I think that people need to kind of be separate, you know. Like, you know, it's, you go live your life how you want, I'll live my life how I want, and just, you know, leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. That's my whole thing, is like. But with the whole marijuana thing, it's just, whatever argument somebody has against marijuana, I can say 1,000 times worse with alcohol. And yes, there's bad things about marijuana. Like, okay, my memory isn't that great. It affects my memory. And also, like, probably, you know, 21 is good to be able to buy alcohol, buy that, and marijuana. But I think that kids need to be educated that your brain isn't developed. Because I was thinking about, like, maybe you got to be 25 now, because your brain isn't fully maturely, like, your frontal lobe isn't 100% developed until you're like 25. So it's best for like kids to definitely not be smoking cigarettes. I think cigarettes are completely worthless. It's so weird that, like, that's another thing, is like, cigarettes are allowed, but marijuana isn't. But alcohol is. That's just so absolutely weird to me. It's always been weird to me, like how hypocritical it is. But it's like anything, you know. If you do too much of something, it's bad for you. If you work out too much, it's bad for you. Even if it seems like a good thing, oh, I'm gonna work and make a bunch of money. Well, it can be a bad thing. Why? Because it can affect your relationships. It can affect other parts of your life. And I think there needs to be some kind of a balance in most people's lives, you know? Some people, yeah, they don't need a balance, you know? Some people are high achievers, like a Elon Musk or a Nikola Tesla. Yeah, and those people, you know, they dedicate their whole lives to creating amazing things. So they probably don't care much about work-life balance. It doesn't suit them. But for the most people like to have some type of leisure. They like to be able to spend time with their families. They don't want to just work all the time. So yeah, it's just like having a balance. Huh? You can't play video games all the time. Gambling, it's anything, you know. But I definitely am happy that, and I kind of felt like he was going to come out with this anyway. And I think that Kamala's going to jump on it, which is kind of funny. I've been like trolling people. My big troll is like, you know, I'm making fun of the whole brat thing, like how Kamala's brat. And I say like on X, like, oh, she's so brat. I want to be just like her. I can't wait to, you know, be able to prosecute people for smoking pot, and then like while I'm smoking pot and laugh at them while they're in prison. Like, yeah, that's what she did. I created a song out of what Tulsi said on the debate stage, and Kamala did do that, you know. So it's kind of interesting how she can smoke weed and then prosecute people for smoking weed. It's just kind of weird. And then, are they going to be for marijuana? You know, is that what they're going to do? What do they stand for anyway? So, this is another thing that I like about Trump. He's very like pragmatistic. That's probably not even a word, but like he's very pragmatic in his, you know, he might not even agree. He probably doesn't even agree with marijuana. You know, he doesn't, as far as I know, he hasn't drank or smoked or done anything in his life. Besides banging a bunch of hot chicks. But he probably doesn't even like, but he understands that most people, well, not most people, but a lot of people do like it, and it's okay in small amounts, and people shouldn't be sitting in prison for it when there's other things that people could be going to prison for. So it just doesn't make any sense to have something that small, like, oh my god, it's so horrible. I'm smoking weed and I'm playing a video game. Man, I'm a menace to society. I'm smoking weed and I'm eating some munchies watching a movie. Man, I'm so horrible. Like, you know, I think that it calms people down. And honestly, like, I think it's good for somebody like me. You know, right now I stopped because I need to focus on I'm trying to get myself out of a hole. I'm trying to get myself in a better position. And marijuana just kind of made me feel like I just don't care. Like, and not only that, I don't care politically, you know. If you've seen, like, I went a long time without really doing anything on X, and then now I'm all over it all the time. It relaxes me. And I think it's good for somebody like me. It calms me down, helps my creativity, and definitely not like going to work or operating a vehicle. Definitely not that, but like sitting at home when I'm not doing anything, it enhances my experience with maybe like to read a book or whatever, watch a movie. It just makes it more interesting. Like, why is that bad? Am I just supposed to like get some alcohol and just get drunk every night? Like, that's normal though, right? Like, that's what the masses do. They think like drinking all the time is like a good thing. Like, that's cool, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, like I made a video Talking about Andrew Tate, you know, the masses know better. Like, how can I be smarter than like millions and billions of people? It's just not. So maybe I'm just wrong. But what I'm saying is, it's cool that Trump is taking this stance, and I think that his first term, he didn't want to say anything like this about this type of stuff, is because he wanted to try to get reelected, and he knows how like something like this, like marijuana being legalized, is a controversial topic that people wouldn't take him serious for, and he wanted to get reelected. And I think that he would have, and if he gets put back in there, he's gonna really come after the deep state, and I think that's why they let him, they let somebody try to kill him. That's why I think happened. I'm not sure if they orchestrated it. I'm not sure if they paid this kid or planned it out for them to sit back and let this kid do that and have that spot where he's at, not securing things. And from what I'm hearing, it wasn't even a Secret Service that took him out. It was just a regular cop. Anyway, like, I think it's cool. I think this is why I like Trump, you know. And the funny thing is about Trump, all this hate on Trump, I guarantee you, if he would have ran as a Democrat, I guarantee you the left would adore him. I guarantee the mainstream media would adore Trump if he would have came out as a Democrat and went with the far leftist policies. And that's why I like Trump. That's the biggest, you know. I had some thoughts about Trump. Maybe he was put there by the deep state to divide us even more. But for the fact that they're coming after him with the law, they might put him in prison. It's a good chance they put him in Rikers on the 18th of this month, and that's going to probably secure the presidency for him. But this is why I like him. You know, he's pragmatic. I used to be a Democrat myself, and you see all these disaffected Democrats coming to his side, whether it's RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, all of these people. Me, I'm a nobody, of course, but like, people who can think for themselves and they see where the Democrats are going, how far left they've gone. Elon Musk. These people are highly intelligent people, man. And I'm not even anywhere near on their level or anything, but like that. But I man, he really. And people say, oh, I'm in a cult. I'm definitely not in a cult. I don't agree with everything. It's just, I'm cool. Like, he changed his stance on Bitcoin. That's a huge thing for me too, because I disagreed with them on that. But it's just like, dude, I don't worship Trump. You know what I'm about? The movement. I'm about anti-war. That's my number one thing. Anti-war and free speech. Those are my number one things. And here's a funny thing too, is some guy just got kicked off of Delta Airlines because he was wearing a Trump shirt, and Trump's like flipping people off. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not even conservative, but like, you, like, are conservatives, like, why are you wearing shirts that say fuck you? Like, that's not appropriate for kids. You know what I mean? Like, aren't you supposed to be conservative? That doesn't make any sense. I see like Trump, like, fuck, like, okay, me, I make music. That's one thing. It's you can have, there's adult places, but like out in the public, man, you can't just like have that. It's inappropriate. So I don't agree with, and I'm not even conservative, man. These people are supposed to be more conservative than me, which it's so crazy. But like I said, I'm just the weird one. Everyone else is right and I'm wrong. I mean, the masses are right. How could I be smarter than like millions and billions of people? It's not it's not true. I'm not. They have to be right. It's okay to wear a shirt that says fuck you. And that's appropriate because it's free speech. Even our founding fathers wouldn't have agreed with that. There's a time and a place for something like that, for adult circumstances like that.